Hi everyone, I'm Dom Griffin, I'm a film critic and you're watching the Armchair Auteur. This is an ongoing video series I do where we talk about new movies, old movies, screenplay analysis, that sort of thing. So if you're into movies and film culture and pop culture in general, then you should consider subscribing. Today I'm going to be doing a short, spoiler-free review of Amazon Prime's new animated adaptation of Robert Kirkman, Cory Walker, and Ryan Ottley's superhero comic book series, Invincible, that debuts next week, and I happen to get to see the first 3 episodes of the series a little bit early, so I'm going to share my thoughts about it with you without ruining it for people that like to go in blind. If you, like me, have never read the source material, Invincible is a book that ran through Image Comics for 15 years and 144 issues, not including tie-ins and one-shots. It follows Mark Grayson, a teenager whose father Nolan is Omni-Man, a Superman pastiche born on another world. On his 17th birthday, Mark develops his dad's powers and becomes a crime fighter named Invincible. But what begins as a pretty run-of-the-mill teen drama with capes, over the course of the series evolves into a more sprawling epic after a handful of wild reveals occur early in the run. Usually TV adaptations of long-form creator-owned comics kind of worry me as a viewer, because either the show is going to slavishly recreate shit I already read month to month for several years, which is why I tapped out of Kirkman's other major adaptation, The Walking Dead, so quickly, or it'll change too much or add new shit in a way that makes me feel completely uninterested. Rare are the shows that, like Amazon's other superhero hit, The Boys, bring the best of the comic and even find new ways to improve or differentiate itself meaningfully from the source material. Luckily, Invincible has the right things in common with Kirkman's work on The Walking Dead show. Primarily, of course, his willingness to kill his darlings or nuke the course of the original book if it means making the show move better or stay more gripping. Here, he hasn't remixed things quite as drastically as he did on the whole zombie show, but I do feel like the show is learning from things that he did from the original series, like with the benefit of hindsight, and is making the show sort of correct for those, not necessarily fallacies or failures, but just presenting it in a new way, in a new medium, so that he's not stuck working on a TV show that just does things he already spent 15 years doing in the comic. Because what makes the comic so interesting is how it looks like such a regular-ass throwback cape comic that uses obvious stand-ins for recognizable characters, big corporate icons with the serial numbers filed off, and presents its main character in such a very Spider-Man-ish narrative arc before repeatedly pulling the rug out from the reader and juxtaposing its simple look and premise with brutal hyper-violence and a unique sense of humor. In the first few episodes of the show, it feels like it's still kind of working to find the right balance, but it does appear like it's going to find it faster than the comic itself did. Again, the benefit of hindsight. But 2 major things really help Invincible stand out. 1, the insanely stacked voice cast that makes everything feel far more prestige than the flat design look meant to ape Cory Walker's art more than Ryan Ottley's would lead you to believe. Stephen Yeun and J.K. Simmons as Mark and his dad are great, but Walton Goggins and Zachary Quinto are doing really strong work here as well. But really, the thing that makes the show extra special to me is the action. Like, look, in the more quiet drama or comedic scenes, the show looks fine enough, I suppose, but it truly comes alive when it's time to stage fights. I can't really show you B-roll footage from the actual best fight in the show, a big climactic scene that readers of the book may already be pretty familiar with, but it really woke me the fuck up at the end of the pilot when I was starting to think the show might not interest me. And that's really the only issue I have with Invincible. By necessity, in order to really shock people when things get hyper-violent, or to effectively sell the subversive elements of the narrative, the show has to lull you into a false sense of security by being a pretty straightforward, almost pedestrian look at being a teen superhero. And while that stuff is done well here, it's still so run-of-the-mill that I found myself waiting around for the larger mythology to develop further, and to get into some of the wilder shit I know happens in the book. But honestly, by the 3rd episode, it does feel like it's finding a better groove that keeps things interesting, and revels in the utter absurdity of the superhero genre without totally shitting on it. Not unlike some of the later stuff in the Venture Brothers. So long as they can continue finding the right balance with delivering what people expect from a show like this, and then twisting it into something better, I think this has the potential to take off the way The Boys has. And obviously, I am always happy for more variety in the superhero genre. So that's my take on Invincible. Obviously, the first episodes air next week. Obviously, reviews are coming out today for people who got to see it earlier like I did. And I think it's something people are going to really dig. Like, again, I'm probably going to, now that the show is airing, take the time to read the entire series. Like, it's been around forever, and it's one of the few major creator-owned comics that I've never gotten around to reading, so I'm intrigued to check it out. But I think the show is cool, and it seems like the show is going to be a lot, like, faster. Like, it seems like just some of the stuff that they're doing is happening quicker than I know it happened in the book, because my good friend Cody has been reading the book recently and read the entire series, and we were comparing notes. But yeah, that's Invincible. Hope you guys loved this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the little thing, hit the little bell icon, and then you get notifications whenever I put out new videos, which is as often as I can possibly make them. If you guys have any thoughts about this or want to talk about it or ask me any questions, do so in the comments below. Love chatting with you guys. And yeah, I hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, being good to yourselves and each other, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.